If you want a scary Pokemon game, you could support an indie developer and give Beasts of Burden a shot.
Wait, did that just happen? Hello everyone, my name is Kieran Audio Dread Jensen, owner of Studio Dread LLC and creator of Beasts of Burden, the game that aimed to deliver on the promise that the fake Evertale ads unfortunately left us all wanting for, and the game that recently was shouted out by one of my all-time favorite YouTubers and the YouTuber that I've been viewing the longest, the Game Theorists. Now chances are, if you are seeing this video, it's because you are already aware of the Evertale fake ad campaign and have most likely already seen the game theory video that MatPat and his team put together to talk about the Evertale ads and the hidden lore within them. For those of you who do need to be brought back up to speed, a brief background is that Evertale released a series of fake ads showing deep psychological horror content in a variety of different styles, including the style of Pokemon and Omori, which were the ones that stood out to me the most. These ads had nothing to do with the actual game and were a blatant and scummy cash grab to attempt to revive a dying gacha game that no one had any interest in playing. Instead of attempting to fix their own formula or to create new and interesting content, they instead decided to create a series of games that promised something very different than what people would actually get in an attempt to trick them into spending their hard-earned money on a game that did not and was never intended to exist. For a more detailed explanation, there are many other videos which you can find linked below, including the game theory video and several others. I, like many others, was exposed to these ads, and I, like many others, decided to go and check out a game that sounded quite fun. Upon looking at the Play Store page for this game, I saw screenshots that looked nothing like the ads, and upon further investigation, I found that the reason the screenshots looked nothing like the ads is because the game had nothing to do with the ads that had sold me on it in the first place. Fortunately, I was able to determine this before wasting my money, however, many were not so lucky. At the time, I had begun researching the ads to see if there was anything to them, as there did seem to be some hidden lore somewhere in there, or possibly teasing another game, but I was very disappointed to find that the intention was certainly not an actual game. In hopes that there could be something interesting about these ads, I took to the Game Theory subreddit and made a post asking if anyone had any insight or theories on if there could be more to the ads. That post became my most popular of all time on any subreddit, receiving over 700 upvotes and 4 awards. Over the course of talking with the community, I determined that the ads had nothing to do with any game that was planned to release, though there could be some interesting lore hidden within them, as was later discovered by the Game Theorists. While talking with the community, many people, myself included, expressed extreme interest in having a game in any way similar to the ads, and as someone who had been working in the game development industry as a freelancer, albeit a sound designer, I decided why not give one last shot at truly diving into Unity and learning how to make a game and fill the void of disappointment that the Evertale ads left behind for all of us. Over the next several months, I did what I can only describe now as very amateur and very poor coding, but I did create a game somewhat resembling the ads in Evertale. This game would be updated several times with several new features added and several visual improvements. The game that resulted from this was not perfect, however it was a game in the same psychological horror style. It was a game that followed the looping pattern that the lore of the Evertale ads had imprinted on me, and it was a game that included many mysteries and deep lore that has still yet to be solved. When I created this game, it was a hope or a dream or maybe an irrational thought of mine that potentially one day the game theorists would take interest in this game and want to solve it, and as such, I included a full ARG, as I know the game theory community loves, as do I, and a deep and psychological horror story hidden under the surface that you can piece together with secrets found in the game. What resulted was a game that had reviews that were, at best, mixed, and a game that never did particularly well. Fast forward a year later, I had released 3 new games and am now working on 2 others, when a friend of mine who I met on the Game Theory subreddit and who helped me advertise for the game sent me a message saying that against all odds, a year after release, it had finally happened and I had been noticed by the Game Theorists. I did the only thing that any rational person would do and absolutely freaked out. This shoutout was not a Game Theory or a GT Live, as in my wildest dreams I had hoped for, but it was one of the people who I admire the most on the YouTube platform knowing that I exist, which was still a phenomenal and surreal experience that I am still processing and have not fully recovered from my shock from. While a brief shoutout like this may not have as big of an impact on a game as many might think, it is still far from insignificant, and I'm absolutely filled with gratitude to the Game Theorists for bringing attention to an indie game that no one knew existed. This game was created very hastily and by a complete amateur. I've since learned much more about code, and in light of this, have begun diving into the game again and fixed some of the bugs. Unfortunately, fixing these bugs requires me to completely rebuild the game, as the first time around I did it so poorly I cannot salvage any of the code. This is a setback, but one that I am more than happy to face, as it means that I have reached a level of my career where I have true incentive to go back and work on some of my old projects, as I have wanted to for a long time. For those of you who want to experience Beasts of Burden for yourself, I do plan to release a guide in the near future which will not reveal any of the secrets or lore elements, but will reveal how to avoid or solve the most common known bugs in lieu of a patch which I expect to have done in the next month or two. It is entirely possible that there is an intention for more content about Beasts of Burden to occur on the GT Live or the Game Theorists channels, and if so, I am more than here for it. MattPat, if you are watching this, my email is open. Please contact me with any questions, though I do not know if that is the case, and I have learned not to get my hopes up about such things. However, dear viewer, if you would not like to see my game featured on GT Live or on the Game Theorists, then by all means, do nothing, and I completely understand. If you would like to see the lore get solved, or at least attempted to be solved by a large channel that we all know and love, do me a favor and tweet this video to @MattPatGT. Even if you have a very small account and you don't think it will make a difference, if enough of you ask for it, it is something that will happen. Though again, this is not me asking for free clout. This is me saying that I would love to see my game featured, of course, and if you would love to see it featured too, there are actions you can take to make that happen, and I would be very grateful if you did. If you would like to support this game, I do have a Patreon, and for as little as $3, you can see behind-the-scenes content and have early access to all development builds, and that includes Beasts of Burden as it gets patched, as well as all of my future games. The more Patreon support that I get, the more time I can dedicate to creating indie games that are longer and of higher quality, which is all that I truly want to do. To the game theory community, for anyone who wants to take a crack at solving the ARG hidden within this game, it is fully complete and has been solved by 2 Twitch streamers that I know of, Moonmunk and Ragnar the Viking, which will be linked below. There's more lore that is hidden within optional secrets of the game that is yet to be discovered by anyone, so there is still a lot of content for those of you who enjoy digging into games to find. I would like to give one more massive thank you to MattPat, the Game Theory team, and the Game Theory community for making this a possibility for me and for inspiring me to discover my true passion and seek it as a full career. I look forward to interacting with all of you in the coming months as I work on Beasts of Burden and many other psychological horror games which I have planned for the future, and I look forward to growing as a community and as a developer alongside all of you. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have anything you would like to say, or if you would like to see future updates and content related to game development and sound design. I have been Kieran Audio Dread Jensen, and thank you all for watching.